I want to start off just with a short little video that I think that you'll all enjoy.
An angel came to see Mary. She was doing laundry, and then the angel just appeared and she was really scared. So Gabriel was like, Mary, you're gonna have what? I can't say it good. Mary, you're gonna have a baby. You're gonna have a baby and you will call him Jesus. And then Mary was like, I'm not gonna have a baby yet. I'm only a teenager. I'm not married. Then the angel Gabriel told Joseph that Mary is not lying. You are having a new baby. And so they met up. They went to Bethlehem, which was Joseph's old town. They ride a donkey. I don't know. A camel. Oh yeah, a camel. She said, this donkey's fast. They tried to go to a hotel and they asked the keeper for a place to stay. The keeper said,
we have no rooms. Literally no rooms. So Mary and Joseph walked away sadly, but then he said,
the only place here in Bethlehem that you can stay is a stable. And then he just pointed the way and they followed. When the shepherds were taking care of the sheep,
then they saw angels.
The angel said, a new baby is getting born, who is King of the Jews.
The angel was singing,
glorious. And then the shepherds said, I think we should go there and meet him. The second, I think, said, yeah, I agree with you. And the other said, yeah, me too. They had to walk through a bunch of grass and bushes. Maybe have to camp out a night. And then the wise men heard about it.
And then a star appeared.
We should probably follow that star. It's pointing down to the barn.
So maybe we should follow it. Maybe. So the wise men went to Jesus.
They gave them gifts.
A stuffed animal, like a hippo one, that I have at home.
Some diapers, and some wipes, and some milk, some shoes, some Jordans.
Gold ring and Latimer.
And I don't know how it would survive in that barn. Too stinky, too crowded, and ugh.
I think he probably pooped because the room was very smelly. Thank you for coming.
He's adorable.
He's gonna be our best friend.
I love you, and you the best baby I ever seen. There, I said it.
The new baby is gonna change the world.
I came across that last night and I just couldn't pass it up. So I think that for myself, I feel like we're in the throes of the Christmas season now, even though it kind of started after Halloween. But it's December now, so everywhere you go, there's Christmas displays and there's Santas and all the different stores and parades and light shows and Christmas music, and it just goes on and on and on and on. I think myself, I've been kind of avoiding it. I've been telling myself, I've got that wreath down in the basement. I think I should put it up on my door. It's still not up on the door, and I've had the lights sitting right below the window for about 3 weeks now. I'm thinking, I should put up those lights one of these days, but just kind of avoiding it. And then yesterday, Saturday, I wanted to go, I was thinking, I should stop by the mall and I need to pick up this one thing. And I pulled into the mall and there was a line of cars like half a mile long, like going in and out, and I thought, I'll just do this another time. So I feel like I've largely been trying to avoid it. But one thing I have been doing is listening to the Christian radio station and all the Christmas music that they've been playing. And I really do love Christmas songs, and one of my favorite ones growing up was The Little Drummer Boy. And you know how that song goes, like, I'm not going to sing it for you. But I love that. I think, especially since in high school, I was much more of a musician, I really love the heart that was expressed. That, even though I have nothing to give you, I have nothing to offer to Jesus, I have nothing to offer to God, but I'll give you my best. I'll play my best for you. And then Jesus smiled at me, and it's just like this beautiful exchange of, giving and love. And so I've always loved that song. And then it occurred to me, there was no little drummer boy. There was no drummer boy in the stable when Jesus was born. Where did this song even come from? And many songs, portray, I feel like, a kind of a glorified version of Jesus' birth and Jesus' life. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. These are really grand proclamations. And from O Holy Night, long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. These are beautiful words, beautiful songs. I love listening to them. I feel like they really express God's hope when Jesus was born, God's hope for the world, and our hope that we find in Jesus, that we find in the Messiah. However, I feel like that's one aspect, but the reality is that Jesus' life wasn't always glorious and easy, and things actually never went the way maybe he thought they would go. It didn't go as planned. Although we really like, our culture loves the nativity scene, and the star leading the wise men, and the gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and all this stuff. But the reality was, this baby was born in a stable, in a dirty, smelly, cold place. He was born in a manger, and his life was in danger. And I was looking for Bible verses about Jesus' childhood, and there's only one reference from the time he was born until he was 30 years old. There's only one reference to Jesus' childhood, and I want to share this with you. This is from Luke chapter 2, verses 41 through 50. Every year, Jesus' parents went to Jerusalem for the festival of the Passover. When he was 12 years old, they went up to the festival according to the custom. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem, but they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and friends. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple court, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. "Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" But they did not understand what he was saying to them. So I think this gives a little bit more. You can't really glorify the story. You can maybe glorify the birth in a manger, but you can't glorify the story of this disconnect of Jesus' parents understanding who he was and where his heart was at. And then next it jumps to when Jesus is 30 years old. And when Jesus was 30, John the Baptist baptized Jesus and testified to him. Yet, as it states in the Divine Principle, John the Baptist harbored doubts toward Jesus. Even though he he had testified to him. He sent a delegation and asked Jesus, "Are you he who is to come, or shall we look for another?" He denied that he was Elijah, even though he in fact came to fulfill Elijah's mission. This not only blocked the Jewish people's path to Jesus, it even led them to oppose him. So, you can speculate, well, what could have been a better scenario here? John the Baptist was born to a high priest. He led an ascetic life. He was so admired by everybody who knew of him or even heard of him. They thought maybe even he would be the Messiah. What he said carried weight, and what he said people believed. But when he doubted, everyone doubted. So then, even though people didn't believe John the Baptist, Jesus picked it up. He began again. He himself took John the Baptist's role. He led the ascetic life. He fasted for 40 days. He resisted the 3 temptations that Satan put before him. Little by little, he gathered people, gathered his followers, only then to be betrayed by Judas and then crucified. But based on the completely pure and sacrificial offering of his life, Jesus could be resurrected. And it wasn't just to impress people, to say, "Look, I am Jesus." He still had work to do. He then gathered his scattered disciples from all over Galilee, really reigniting their faith, reigniting their passion, beyond what they had ever experienced during his lifetime. They really got it. So finally, he had truly faithful believers, even at the cost of their lives. Some of them were crucified upside down, but they never gave up then. So after his resurrection, finally he could ascend from the position of John the Baptist to actually becoming the Messiah. He could send the Holy Spirit and finally bring spiritual rebirth to this world. So, looking from all these different events in his life, from the time that Jesus was born until he was crucified, resurrected, and gave spiritual rebirth to this world, I think about it, and it's kind of like Jesus wasn't able to go with plan A. And then with John the Baptist, he wasn't able to go with plan B. It's like he had to go with plan Z. But he did it. Jesus never gave up on the plan. Although I think you could find many reasons to be discouraged, frustrated. You could feel down about it. But he never stopped trying. He always did the very best he could with whatever situation it was that he had. And think about it. Jesus only had 3 years of public life. 3 years on this earth where he was actively proclaiming God's word, trying to show people a way of true love. And in that short amount of time, he changed the world. He transformed people's hearts, and he transformed people's lives. And he's still, to this day, moving and transforming people's lives. So then I think about, well, today, in our own lives, what can we learn from this aspect of Jesus' life? The glorified versions of Jesus' life are very beautiful. I think that these songs of Jesus, they inspire the awe and the hope and worship within us. And there are many things that you could learn from Jesus. I mean, you could take the Bible and, of course, that's what Christianity is based off of. You can give a sermon every single week on the things that Jesus taught us and how to live. But I think that when we look at this very real and human aspect of Jesus' life, then we can learn something that we're not going to find in The Little Drummer Boy. We can learn something that we're not going to find in Oh Holy Night or in cute videos of Jesus' birth. And what we can learn is, don't be discouraged. Don't give up. Do you ever feel like things in your life maybe didn't go the way that you planned? Yeah. I think, think back to when you were a child and you tried to think about the future and what you wanted your life to look like. Did you have a plan? What you were going to be? What your family was going to look like? What kind of a house you were going to have? Does it make it look a little bit different from what you imagined as a child? I think circumstances don't always go the way we expect them to, and sometimes we don't always make the right choices either. Sometimes we end up in a different place from where we were expecting to be. I think even also in Reverend Lou's life, our true parents' life, now we can kind of look back and see all the things that they've accomplished, from beginning in a tiny cardboard and mud hut on the side of a mountain in Korea, to reaching all the corners of the earth, transforming people's understanding of the world and transforming the way that we live our lives. Now we can look back and testify to the amazing work of True Parents' life, of Reverend and Mrs. Moon. But I think many of you walked that path with them, and you can probably attest to the fact that it didn't always go the way that you thought it was going to go. Maybe you expected a certain event to turn out a certain way. I think to Yankee Stadium, and how we didn't understand why it all got blown away and rained on. And maybe their family didn't look the way that you thought it would look. But I think that things rarely ever do go the way that you expect them to. But even in spite of all that, I think from God's perspective, looking at Jesus' life, looking at our true parents' life, with everything that they did, what did that mean to God? It's so meaningful. There's so much value in what Jesus was able to accomplish and what true parents were able to accomplish. So maybe not everything went smoothly. Perhaps plan A fell by the wayside, a long time ago. But what they did still has tremendous meaning and value. So then what about us? I think that in Jesus' life and our true parents' life, there's a valuable lesson for us as well. Life happens. And once it happens, then the only thing we have control over is how we respond to it. And maybe you think, well, Jesus was a perfect person. True parents are these special people. I'm not like that. I'm not as strong as them. I'm not as faithful as them. I don't have the same kind of courage as them. And so maybe we can separate ourselves from Jesus. We can separate ourselves from true parents. But God's plan for everyone is the same. God's end goal not only for Jesus, for the whole world, for our lives is the same. We all have the same destination. And so whether your path is straight and narrow, which I think nobody's is, or maybe you took a couple detours. Maybe you feel like you're going in circles. But the destination is still the same, and God never gives up on that destination. There's always a way back if we look for it, if we don't give up on it. So the point is to not give in when you feel discouraged and not give up. The path of faith is not an easy one. And trying to apply divine principle into our real life has its challenges. But I find that I just have to believe that even with setbacks, even if things don't turn out the way I envisioned, that the end result will be beautiful and the end result is worth it. It will be something that God can claim and will have meaning and beauty for God. So I just want to leave you with this final music video that I have. I feel like it kind of expresses and encapsulates the the message of today, so I want to share it with you. I just think, what if, diamonds are made out of coal, carbon, black, icky, dirty stuff, right? What if the coal didn't want to be crushed? What if it didn't want to be pressurized? What if it didn't want to go the course? You know? We can avoid the challenges if we want to, or we can try. We always run into new ones, but we can try to avoid the life that's placed in front of us. But the coal will never become a diamond unless it goes through the pressure. So let's not give up. Let's not be discouraged. Let's let God do His work in our life. Make us diamonds. Okay, thank you.